Hello, I'm Kate Pagan. I'm the Chief Nursing Information Officer. The videos you will see next contain my friend and colleague, the late Dr. Paul Southern. He was the key driving force in the EPR programme and was passionate about patient care and safety and the way that it supports it. We felt that continuing to use these clips would be a good way to continue his legacy. I'm sure that he would be very proud to continue to be a part of this important programme.
Hello, my name is Paul Southern and I'm the Associate Medical Director for Informatics. In this brief video today we're going to review the creation and use of favourites within our EPR. The first thing to note is that there are two sets of favourites that will be driven by the patient's encounter type. So you have one list of favourites for inpatients and one list of favourites for outpatients. It's important to recognise this, and therefore you may need to save some favourites twice depending on the encounter. This, however, only has to be done one time only. So if we turn to EPR, I'm clerking this patient in as an outpatient and lots of medications. If we go to new order entry, I can choose to look at my favourites. So if we look here, I have all my favourites set up. So for example, I have all my follow-up types recorded there, all pre-filled and pre-populated, meaning that if I want to order hepatology follow-up on a patient, it is just simply a case of selecting the time frame, clicking order, clicking the green box and clicking sign, and it's done. Very quick. I also have, for example, things like my liver etiology screen, which again makes it much easier for remembering what makes up an etiology screen. But we're going to pretend that I haven't got any of these things done, and we're going to create some new orders. So I'm going to request a full blood count for this patient. They're going to have a set of LFTs, and they're also going to have a calcium level. So we then go to the orders for signature box. I'm going to click sign. I'm going to just remove that hepatology follow-up so it doesn't make a mess of the system. So right click and remove. I'm now going to fill in the order entry form for these three requests. So I click the first one and then go down to the bottom one, hold the shift key and click the bottom one, and that selects all of them. At this point you can then fill in the common items within the patient's order form. So I'm going to put their clinical details, poorly. I'm going to put my secretary's telephone number. I'm going to say it's a phlebotomy outpatient, and that's it complete. If I click sign, they're then committed to the record. But then I think, well, hang on, I'm going to use these again. So to save them as favourites, one simply hovers over the request in question, right click and click add to favourites. At this point, you just click OK as well, and it just drops into your favourite box. We can do the same with this. And once again, the calcium, hover over it, right click, add to favourites, click OK. We're then going to sign this patient's bloods and off they go. When I then have a quiet moment to organise my favourites, I will go into requests and care plans. I will then go into add. And then as you can see here, it offers me all of my favourites. And here is the LFT full blood count calcium that I requested before. If we click this little up box here, it allows me to go back up. So it lets me do this, but I've decided actually I want to move these around a bit. So I'm actually going to click this little down arrow next to the star, and that allows me to organize my favorites. So I click that. So here's all my favorites now, and I can create a new folder. So I might say, so if I make sure I'm on the top one here and click create folder, it'll add a new one in there, and I'm going to say test favorites. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull those favorites that I just created that have been dropped into the favorites folder and move them up into this new test favorites folder. There you go. All in there. This would also mean I can also move things around. So for example, here I've got Helicobacter eradication, which is medication that we use to eradicate a certain bug. I can double check what the item details were, and I could move them around if necessary. I could go to this one here, cirrhosis, and say, do you know, that actually needs to have a full blood count. So I'm going to move that full blood count of test favourites into there, and it's there. But I might decide, actually, do you know, that test favourite folder, I'm not happy with it, so I'm going to delete it. Click delete, say yes, and it's gone. The use of favourites will really speed up how you use EPR. Particularly things like follow-ups. If all the common follow-ups are saved in terms of time intervals, it'll make your life a lot easier and a lot quicker. Thank you for watching this short video.